Notre Dame just opened their locker room. Notre Dame locker room is open, and it will close at 11:49. Today, I got here around 3. Good times. I'm sorry? Wait for everyone? Yeah, if you can wait for everyone, thank you. What? Yeah. What time does the locker room close? 55. UConn locker room is now open. That will close at 11:55. Joining us on the dais from Connecticut, head coach Gino Ariema, student athletes Kristen Williams, Nafisa Collier, and Katie Lou Samuelson. We'll take an opening statement from coach, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes.
Well, I mean, obviously, we're incredibly disappointed that we didn't win the game. But, we played a great team, and they played really, really well when they had to. And, we knew going in that we had to make a bunch of shots. And, when we went in at halftime, after holding them to 29, and it's not 40-29, then they're not going to stay. And then we still had a chance, and we just weren't good enough tonight to do it. I mean, it's not anything other than they were just better than us tonight. They were better than us when the season started, and they were better than us tonight. And they had more good players play better and contribute more than we did. And that's just the way the world is. They deserved to win, and we didn't do quite enough to win. That's it.
Questions for the student athletes? Michelle?
Michelle Smith, NCAA.com. Katie Lou, in those final couple of minutes, what did you guys need to do that you just couldn't get done?
We need to step up, make big plays, and get stops. And, they just made more big plays than we did.
Doug?
Doug Fromberg, the AP. Katie Lou, that third quarter you had was awesome, and you had, I think, 15 points. Coach, did he say anything you at halftime, like be more aggressive or do something to get you going offensively?
I think, he didn't have to say anything specifically. I know what I need to do better in times like that, and I didn't do enough in that first half.
Question down here?
Leo Haggerty, Night Sports Productions at Sports Magazine, Fighting Words, Sports Radio. Katie Lou, starting with you and just going down the line. You went up 9 in the fourth quarter. Did you feel you had the game in control then?
We felt confident, as we should be in ourselves, but, we knew that they make big plays, and when it came down to it, we didn't get the stops we needed.
Yeah, being up 9 in the fourth quarter is a good position to be in. So we did feel confident in that moment. And then after that, we weren't making, as Kaylu said, the plays that we needed to in order to maintain and extend the lead.
Yeah, like they said, we felt confident, but they made some big plays at the end. And unfortunately, we weren't making the shots we needed to make. So.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, thank you, ladies. They'll be available in the locker room until 11:55. We'll take questions for Gino. We'll start right here with Doug.
Gino, Doug Feinberg. Rike in that fourth quarter, I think she had 14 points or something. Was just that's her time to shine. It seems during the NCAA tournament, she's a fourth quarter player. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was any mystery, who was going to be taking the majority of their shots, in the fourth quarter. That's just, that's the way they've always played since Enrique's been there, and she still has to make those shots, and she did. She's an almost impossible matchup one-on-one, and we knew that going in. We knew that they were going to score X number of points, and we knew we had to make shots, and we didn't. And I thought we did everything else right, but we didn't. Shots that we've been making all year long, we didn't make them. And then, like I said, that happens at the Final Four. Everything changes, and unfortunately, we didn't have enough. We didn't have enough. They had so many layups that we can't get, and a bunch of the layups that we did get, we didn't make. And they're able to get layups almost any time they want, and we just don't have the ability to do that.
Question right here in the middle.
Gino, Jeff Jacobshurst, Connecticut. Could you reflect a little bit about Nafisa and Katie Lou? The 5 losses in their title career, and yet there's been these disappointments at the Final Four.
Yeah, 5 losses, and 3 of them are here, huh? Yeah, we said that in the locker room that it's not apparent sometimes why your teammates with Lou and Feast. It's not apparent until after they're gone how much they did for you and how much they contributed to your success, and how much you're going to miss their presence every single day, and on the court, off the court, doesn't matter. And losing a game is part of life. You lose, you get beat, whatever the case may be. But there's always tomorrow. There's always another game. There's always another season to get ready for. And the thing that stings the most in your locker room, if you've ever played, is you look around and there's some people in that locker room that aren't going to be back next year. And that hurts way more than the loss. That hurts way more than the loss. When you realize that, 2 people that you've shared so much with are not going to be around anymore. And it's especially true with these 2 because for such a young team that we have and such an inexperienced team in a lot of ways, those 2 really had a huge burden to carry all year long. And, you saw us at times today where we looked like the best team in the country. And then you saw us at times today where it was a real, real struggle for us. And those 2, they bore the burden of that every single day, every single game. So I can't be more proud of kids than I am those 2.
Question here from Mike.
Gino, what did you think that you specifically needed to do when you were up 9 to seal the game?
Well, when we got up 9, 2 things we knew were going to happen. 1, they're going to pass it to Enrique and she's going to go one-on-one and score. 2, they're going to throw it into the post and whoever Megan's guarding because they have a huge mismatch in there. And that's exactly what they did. And I've always said coming in here that, and all the time, there's certain things that when you have a certain kind of team, there's certain things that the other team can do to you that you don't have anything that you can come back with and say, well, I know how we can get a stop. We'll trap them. Well, that doesn't work against these guys because they always find the open guy, and that's either for a layup or a wide open three. So you have to be able to get stops playing one-on-one. And, you know, when we had Liv in the game, you know, it was much more difficult for them to get those shots. But then when we have Liv in the game, our offense isn't as good as it can be yet. That kid's going to be a dynamite player. She really stepped up today, her and Kristen. But, yeah, we knew coming in that there's things Notre Dame does that we don't have an answer for. I've had those kind of teams a couple times.
Question over here.
Coach, a two-part question. Two of your players go 40 minutes. One goes 39. One goes 38. Did you feel fatigue was an issue in the fourth quarter? And because of that, did you play a little more zone than normal?
No, we were going to play a variety of defenses. I thought that there was a long stretch where zone was our best defense. But I don't think a lot of their guys sat on the bench either. So this was a game where, you know, those last 5 minutes, somebody was going to make plays and somebody was going to win, and it happened to be them. And you know, I don't know that there's, you know, anything that we could say we're going to kick ourselves because we should have done this. You know, the shots we got were pretty much the shots we wanted to get. It was the last time you saw Lou miss a wide open layup in the lane, you know, or Feast airball 7-footers. Probably hasn't done that in 4 years, you know. So we got the shots that we wanted, but again, against a team like Notre Dame, you only get so many chances, and you need to capitalize on every one of your chances. When we played them at their place, we did. We did. And here tonight, we didn't. That first half, you can't defend them any better than we defended them that first half. And as they probably went in the locker room going, man, we played lousy and we're only down 1. And we went in the locker room and said, man, we played lousy, but we're still up 1. And that should have been a 15-point game at halftime.
Question here from Michelle.
Gino, those shots you just described that didn't go in, is it different if last year or the year before goes differently than that? Is this just all about X and O's, or is this just a moment where, you know, what's happened the last 2 years shows up in the last 2 minutes of this game?
No, I don't think what happened last year had anything to do with what happens here. You know, I just think X's and O's is way overrated, you know. I know some of the dumbest coaches in the world that have won a lot of games because they got the best players. So, to me, you know, X's and O's is you get your players in the right position, and if they make shots, then you're going to win. If you don't make shots, you're not going to win. It's whether it's in high school or college or pros, it doesn't matter. You have to make plays. It's not about who has the best offense or who has the best scheme, you know. 2 years ago, they threw the ball to Breonna Turner as much as they did today, and she wouldn't make those shots. And she wouldn't make those free throws either. So, you know, you got to put yourself in a position to be successful, and then you got to finish the play. It's quite simple, you know. Sometimes, you know, we try to make the game really, really complicated. It's not. It's not complicated, you know. Most teams are going to give you a chance to win the game, and they gave us a chance to win the game, and we weren't good enough to win it. There's nothing wrong with that. They were better than us. They still had to win it. They still had to make those shots. When they were down 9, they could have missed the next 5 shots, and we went up 17, but they didn't. Why? Because they're defending national champions and they have 5, high school Americans who are really, really, really good. Like I said, I remember being in that situation a couple times.
That's all the time we have. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Notre Dame's locker room is closing at 11:49. Connecticut's locker room will be closed at 11:55. Notre Dame is making their way down now. Hello. We have some up here. Hi. Do you want to do a statement? Okay. Joining us on the dais now for Notre Dame, head coach Muffet McGraw, student athletes Brianna Turner, Arike Ogunbale, and Jessica Shepard. We'll take a statement from Coach McGraw, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes.
That was an amazing second half. I thought first half we really struggled to score, and the second half really just caught fire. I think we played our normal game in the third quarter, but I thought Brianna Turner was absolutely outstanding on defense. That's why she was ACC Defensive Player of the Year. She now has the block shot record at Notre Dame, beating Ruth Riley. So proud of her, and she really single-handedly kept us in the game. I thought in the first half she had so many key block shots. Rike in the second half did what Rike does. She made some huge threes, made some great plays, and then the free throws down the stretch. But Jessica Shepard, what an amazing game. 20 and 13, Bree 15 and 15. I mean, we felt like we had to rebound in order to win, and I thought we did that.
Questions for the student athletes? We'll start here with Doug.
Doug Feinberg, the AP. Arike, I mean, I know last year was the whole thing about you and Kobe and the relationship and the Mamba mentality, but it seems the fourth quarter you just take over games. What was your mindset? You're down 9 and you just took over.
I think, teammates talking to me, and, we said we had to get defensive stops, and I think we really as a team picked up our defense. And, we were scoring, but we weren't giving stops, so we were just trading buckets. But once we started getting stops and, started getting scores, then that's when we went on a run.
Question here from Michelle.
Michelle Smith, NCAA.com. Brianna, you weren't on the floor with your team last year, and so being out here this year, what kind of was your mindset heading into the game and especially down the stretch?
I was just really excited and focused and ready to go. I mean, yeah, I've had injuries in the past, but I really kind of put that in the back of my head and always looking forward. So I was really looking forward to this game and being able to compete out there.
Question right here.
Howard Mandel, High Post Hoops. Jess, question for you. For you to be out there 40 minutes, for you to play every second of this game and to finish strong the way you did, is there an extra bit of significance for that for you, given that conditioning has been so central to the work you've put in over the last couple of years?
I mean, I think our strength coach and I think the coaching staff just does a great job of getting us in shape. So when it does come March and April, we're ready to go out there and play. And I think, everyone played pretty high minutes today.
Question down here.
Leo Haggerty, Night Sports Productions at Sports Magazine, Fighting Words, Sports Radio. Jessica, starting with you and going all the way down the line. You come out of the timeout and go down 9, and it doesn't look like anybody's panicking. It looks like it's more, we got this, we know what we're doing, we've been there. Was that the feeling?
I think for us as players, that was definitely the feeling. I think we had coach a little bit stressed, but I think, we knew that as long as we kept our composure, we just needed to get stops and we needed to get good offensive shots. And I think, Bree came up huge in the fourth quarter.
Arike?
I agree exactly what Jess said.
I think this is the maturity of this team, being mostly upperclassmen playing tonight, just making sure we're staying relaxed, not getting too anxious. We knew against, of course, last week coming out versus Stanford, we were down in the second half, and we were able to come back. And our coach tries to sometimes joke we're a second-half team, but we just knew we had to come back, no matter what it took, and no matter how many points we had to come back from.
We'll take a final question for the student athletes back here.
This question's for Coach McGraw. This is Justin with Eagle News.
Sorry, we're still working on the student athletes. Is there anything else for the student athletes? Okay. Thank you, ladies. The Notre Dame locker room did just close. We'll continue with questions for Coach McGraw.
So you're going back to the finals. Has this team improved from last year, or do you feel it still needs some work?
Well, I think Brianna gives us just a totally different look. And what she can do defensively, she can switch out and guard the point guard, and she can certainly guard the post. She's a shot-blocking presence inside. So I think it makes us a little more dominant inside, which won't be so dominant against Baylor because they're equally talented in the post. So we've had the advantage, I think, in a lot of games with our size. I don't expect that we're going to have that tomorrow or Sunday.
Question here from Doug.
Buffett, Doug Feinberg, the AP. Two-part question. Kind of what I asked Enrique about, just the fourth quarter seems to be when she shines the brightest. The second part is, obviously, you had such a wonderful comment yesterday about women empowerment. You have two women in the finals now for the first time since 2012. Does that mean anything to you especially?
Yeah, same too, I think, right? Yeah. And, I thought it was great to have a chance to say some things. But, this weekend's really all about basketball right now. And so we want to really focus on that. But I am excited to have two women in the final. Was there another? Yeah. Enrique just really got off to a slow start, I thought, in a lot of ways. I think, she probably feels like she has to carry us because she's our leading scorer, and so she tries to do a little too much early and then sometimes not enough. And I thought she really settled in at halftime. And I think her teammates really help her. They really continue to encourage her, and she really came alive in the second half.
Question here from Michelle.
Muff the players joke about how stressed you are, but do you ever wonder if the magic isn't going to show up in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, that's the cause of my stress. I get so frustrated because it just seems so easy. We're in man-to-man, they're in zone, and it's like they lose their focus. They're not paying attention. Katie Lou's going off for three after three after three, and they can't find her. And, offensively, we call a play, we run something else. We looked a little out of sorts, and so I worry a lot. And then, all of a sudden shots start falling. We get a defensive stop, make a layup, and, look up the scoreboard, and, we just went on an 8-0 run.
Question down here in the aisle.
Coach, you go down 62-55 with 8:19 left. Did you take the timeout because you thought it was slipping away, or did you just want to stop Connecticut's momentum, which you did? Either way, a great coaching move, but what was it?
I think that was where we were in the wrong defense. And so we felt like we really needed to talk about it again, we were supposed to be in man-to-man. We needed to find Katie Lou, and just to kind of reaffirm what we were talking about at the start of the fourth quarter timeout.
Question down here in the front.
Hi, Muffet. Howard Mandel, High Post Hoops. Jess has talked about coming here to win championships, and that's the reason why she came to Notre Dame. But with the way your offense rewards facilitators out of the front court, specifically with her passing, in some ways it seems like she's kind of the perfect player for Notre Dame. Do you view her that way, and do you view that as an indispensable part of what's gotten you here once more?
Absolutely. Jess is indispensable to what we do, and she fits perfectly in our system. She is somebody that loves to pass the ball, and she's probably wants to be a point guard. You see her dribbling down the floor. I mean, she went coast to coast on a steal, and she is a great facilitator at the high post. She's got over 100 assists on the year. She really makes our offense go, and Bree can go down and be on the block and not have to worry about anything else because Jess is a great high post player.
Anything else for Coach McGraw? Right here.
Coach, we're both from the Philadelphia area, and there's a term called the Philly guard. Your girls epitomize that, don't they?
Well, Marina, for sure. She comes by it very naturally. She is so feisty and so competitive and just never, ever quits. She missed a lot of shots in the first half. She was fearless in the second half, feisty on defense. She's the one in the huddle that's really getting everybody going.
Anything else for Coach? We'll take one final question here.
Thanks. Hi, Muffet. Just to follow up on the Jess conversation, her ability to do that, the fact that, she can be 6'4" and she can also facilitate. How do you think that translates to the next level? What kind of player do you see her being in the W?
Well, I think she'll be a great player at the next level. She can shoot threes. In our system, she doesn't really get a chance to do a lot of that. This year, she shot a lot more jumpers from the free throw line. Her free throw percentage has really improved. So I think she's proven that she can face up and score in the WNBA.
Thank you, Coach.